Welcome to the NSIC Spotlight, the voice of the NSIC student athletes, powered by gpac. gpac, growing people and companies. I'm your host, Nick Corner, Assistant Commissioner at the Northern Sun. Today, we are joined by the 2026 NCAA Division II National Champion at 197 pounds, Max Ramberg of Augustana University. Max, welcome to the Spotlight.
Happy to be here.
All right, let's just start with you telling us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a fourth year here at Augustana University. I'm a special education and elementary ed major. And I just finished my last season here competing at Augustana.
Finished on quite the high note. Undefeated season, national champion at 197 pounds. It's been a few days since earning that title. Have you finally come down from that high of Saturday night?
Um, I think there's some things that you do in life that you never quite come down from. Like certain goals you reach. But yeah, I think the euphoria is definitely wearing off and now it just feels really good.
We mentioned an undefeated season. You came into the tournament as the number one seed. What did it mean to you to be able to win a national championship in the city of Sioux Falls?
It was awesome. I mean, the really cool thing about Augustana is no matter where national championships would have been held, we would have had just a massive cheering section. So the fact that it was in Sioux Falls just made it a little bit easier on them. They didn't have to travel quite as far, but they would have been there no matter what.
That's right. It's never an easy route to the national title, but after earning All-American status on Friday, how much pressure did you feel going into Saturday morning semifinal match?
Um, I actually felt better. I felt good. I felt like I could just go wrestle free. And it wasn't as much of a battle to feel that way. Whereas maybe on Friday, I was having to, tell myself that at the end of the day, this is just a game and just to go have fun. Whereas Saturday, it just kind of came easier. But you have those every once in a while.
It's never easy, but you did take care of business Saturday morning. You won 8-0 over fifth seed from McKendree. What did you do that afternoon to prepare for the national championship match?
I just rested. It was kind of interesting. I got to come back to my house and hang around, watch some TV, took a short nap, and just tried to stay loose.
How have you been able to nap? I know you use a lot of energy, but knowing a national championship, I don't know if I could sleep that afternoon, especially with when you return to the arena. Talk about the atmosphere that night, Saturday, as you entered the arena.
It was awesome. As I entered, it was super cool. It was like a dream come true. You always picture yourself going to be in these moments and now you're here. So it was awesome. And it was even more cool. Like we had a bunch of alumni from Augustana walking us out for the March of All Americans. And I knew a lot of them. So I was chatting with them and, I felt at home.
National championship match was against the 2 seed from Glenville State. After a scoreless opening period and then trailing 1-0, you get a takedown. Talk about that moment and how it changed your strategy the rest of the match.
It didn't change anything at all. I was looking for attacks the entire time. And one finally opened up for me and I took it. And I even was looking right after he got the escape. But I remember right after the takedown, he got a super quick escape when I had a bottom leg Turk. And I was super surprised because he showed some real power there. And I was really shocked that he was able to get out from under me that quick, but didn't matter. I just kind of stayed on it.
2 final seconds ticking away. The clock expires. You turn to the hometown crowd. Talk us through that feeling.
It was sweet, just amazing. It was like it was deafening almost. Like I was hearing everything, but I couldn't hear anything at the same time. I just saw a sea of Augustana people, and it was about the coolest thing ever.
For the match, you're given a championship belt. What were your thoughts when they strapped it around your waist, and what are your plans for that belt in the future?
I think the belt's awesome. Like it's super sweet. I'm a big fan of like the Ultimate Fighting Championships and things like that. And I think like the belt is the coolest thing ever. I remember sitting back in the warm-up area and like the guys that would win the belt from the red corner, because that's where I was warming up, they would just have it on their shoulder. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, man, if I get it done, I'm gonna put that on my waist. So I was super fortunate to have that. And the plans for the belt, I guess definitely hang it up, yeah, there's nothing else to really do but hang it up and have it serve as a good memory.
And speaking of memories, you got to this pinnacle on Saturday night, but a ton a ton of work went into it. Let's go back to what got you here. Talk about your training, what it looked like in order to reach this point.
Um, I think pretty normal. My coach talks about it a lot. My coach Chisholm Fink, he had a really cool thing that he said. I think it was 2 years ago. He's like, "Hey, everyone's goal is to win a national title. Like that's not like you're not different in that sense. And everyone trains really hard. Everyone wrestles a lot alive. Everyone works on their technique and they lift really hard. Um, and I think so. Just separating yourself in the small details is really what you got to focus on because everyone here in college in the NSIC in the NCAA Division II works extremely hard to get where they're at. So buckling down and honing in on every little detail is really what I try to do.
I don't think you can top the national championship as a highlight from your collegiate career, but are there any other moments that stand out that you'll never forget from your career?
Yeah. I was asked this question by one of my youth kids that I coach, like what my favorite wrestling memory was. And I go back to 2 years ago at the national tournament in Wichita. Me and my teammate Zach Peterson, he was a heavyweight and I was a 197 pounder still, obviously. And he had just made like this Cinderella run story to the semifinals. And I had just lost in the quarterfinals to the 2 seed Derek Bluebaugh, who ended up winning it that year. Um, but Zach Peterson, we call him Pete. He he made this crazy run. He weighed less than me, and he was wrestling in the heavyweight division. And I remember him, and like tears were just streaming down his face. And he came in the back room, and I was already like starting to warm up because my round to place was coming up really soon. And he had thought that I had won, and he was so happy. And he was like crying. He came up and hugged me, and his quote was, "He's like, man, it feels like it was just yesterday that we were wrestling off for the spot at 197." And he's like, and now we're here and we're both all Americans. And I just remember I didn't have the heart to tell him that I didn't win, and I still had another match to go before I was an all American. But that's about one of my favorite wrestling memories that sticks out.
An outstanding memory right there. And you kind of led into my last question about the youth and coaching that. What's the best piece of advice you would give a young wrestler to help them in their development?
Man, there's a lot of stuff. I guess I got a few things. Don't don't lose weight when you're young. Don't try and cut weight. Just wrestle what you weigh and have fun. And wrestling what you weigh goes into it. Just, have fun. Like it's you're gonna lose and it's good to care that you lose, but you shouldn't ever dwell on it. The main point of wrestling is to have fun. It's not to win titles or go and do all the crazy stuff. As long as you're having fun with it, I think everything's gonna work out just fine.
Looked like you had fun on Saturday night and it worked out just fine for you. That's going to wrap up this week's show. Thanks again to our sponsor, gpac. Max, congratulations again and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you so much.